जन्मानेकशतैः सदा दरयुजा भक्त्या समाराधितो भक्तैर्वैदिकलक्षणेन विधिना सन्तुष्ट ईश स्वयं साक्षात् श्री गुरुरूपमेत्य कृपया दृग्गोचरः सन् प्रभुः तत्त्वं साधु विबोध्य तारयति तान् संसार दुःखार्णवात् तत्त्वं साधु विबोध्य तारयति तान् संसार दुःखार्णवात् सर्वव्यापकमद्वितीयमजरं वेदान्तविज्ञापितं द्वन्द्वाभासविवर्जितं भवहरं शान्तिप्रदं देहिनां कर्मविकर्महीनममलं त्रैगुण्यविच्छेदकं ध्यायेत् ब्रह्म सदा प्रशान्तमनसा भक्त्या च सश्रद्धया ध्यायेत् ब्रह्म सदा प्रशान्तमनसा भक्त्या च सश्रद्धया। हरि ओम तत्सत्। शांति पाठ। ओम आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि
ओम आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि
वाक् प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो
वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो
बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि
बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि
सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदम्
सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदम्
माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम्
माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम्
मा ब्रह्म निराकरोद निराकरणमस्तु
मा ब्रह्म निराकरोद निराकरणमस्तु
अनिराकरणं मेस्तु
अनिराकरणं मेस्तु
तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु
तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु
धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु
धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
So yesterday's shloka, that is 2.4. प्रतिबोधविदितं मतं
प्रतिबोधविदितं मतम्
अमृतत्वं हि विन्दते
अमृतत्वं हि विन्दते
आत्मना विन्दते वीर्यम्
आत्मना विन्दते वीर्यम् वीर्यम्
विद्यया विन्दते वृतं
विद्यया विन्दते मृतम्
प्रतिबोधविदितं मतं
प्रतिबोधविदितं मतम्
अमृतत्वं हि विन्दते
अमृतत्वं हि विन्दते
आत्मना विन्दते वीर्यम्
आत्मना विन्दते वीर्यम्
विद्यया विन्दते मृतम्
विद्यया विन्दते मृतम्
You should remember that this is very important mantra. Pratibodha viditam matam. That is when we know, because previously, the last few shlokas, they have put forward various contradictions. Although through the contradictions, they are only pointing out that it cannot be known like any other objective knowledge. So they have expressed in that manner that you cannot call it vidita, you cannot call it avidita and all that, because any conceptualized knowledge about Brahman is going to be wrong. That is what they meant. Now, coming up to that, there might be a doubt that then is it unknowable absolutely? Then what is the point in these shastras, having these shastras, reading these shastras? So they are now given the hint, clue, that no, there is a way, although it is not to be we should not try to know it as a conceptualized concept of Brahman, but there is a way of discovering it. That is the pratibodha, that is in every perception when it is known. We have to know it in every perception. We have discussed in detail this pratibodha, that all the perceptions are taking place on the consciousness itself. The consciousness itself is taking that form. So, you cannot say that initially you may go into samadhi and discover when nothing is there, then you realize that what is the Atma. But coming back, we have to, through our knowledge, through our buddhi, we have to understand and finally realize and discriminate, point out that the same whatever we have known in the samadhi, on that the world is appearing to be. It is the same thing, there is no change at all. Then we know that the Atma itself is the Brahman, which we knew as Atma Sakshatkara in samadhi. That Atma then becomes the Brahman, because on it the whole universe is appearing to be. Only when we know as this is the permanent on which all the changeful things are appearing to be, then we can attain Amritattva. Means that is not within the causal objectitude at all. So anything that causal will die. It will be born. Anything that has born will die. But when it is not in the objective ken at all, where is the question of it being causal? Because causal means we are thinking of an object, that it has been caused by something, it is going to produce an effect. It is, I am something, seeing something. But in this case, this Atma or the Brahman, it never blinks, it never goes. It is always there in the same manner on which the different objects are appearing to be. So in the beginning, we will call it the Sarvasakshi. Atma is referred to as Sarvasakshi. That means it is the substratum of everything. It is witnessing everything, but never undergoing any change with the changeful objects. When there is a change, it is revealing the change, but it is not undergoing any change. Just like as the sunlight, it reveals what is there. It doesn't undergo any change by that. Similarly, we have taken the example of the cinema screen also, that so much of life, everything is shown, so much of, we get completely involved with whatever stories are told, but it is all appearing on the screen, which we miss. We don't see the screen at all. Similarly, in the mirror, a full wall mirror, when we see all, our focus is all on the objects. The mirror we miss, which is creating the whole reflection. Like that here also, that we are missing that on which the objects, because our tendency, this we should always remember, the basic trouble with us is the with which we are born. We are always looking outside. Outside means not outside, it can be inside also, but looking at something different from me. That is why it is called bhoga pravritti, that the tendency to enjoy. We are always trying to look for something different from me. So even in meditation, in our spiritual practices also, our tendency is to look for something different from me. But the self is what I am. So as long as this tendency to look for the second is there, we will not be able to know it. And when that tendency goes, when it reveals, we understand that this means it is not an object, but this is the unchanging, untainted, pure, whatever you may say, which is reflecting, which is manifesting, or which is revealing all the objects. Now that is why this pratibodha word in other places, not exactly here I have not found, but other places this pratibodha word is used for meaning the prajnana. We have the Rigvedic statement of prajnanam brahma. That means this is the prajnana, where the jnana and the jnata become fused. Normally the jnana will be different from the jnata. I am knowing this subject. So there is a difference. When that difference goes and the jnana becomes the jnata and the jnata becomes the jnana, the difference is vanished, then we call it prajnana. In Buddhism, similar thing is called bodhi, that it is also an understanding, it is a revelation. It is a direct revelation. Suppose normally we have pratyaksha, paroksha. These are the two forms of knowledge. Pratyaksha means prati aksha. That means whatever is there in front of our senses, we are able to know it as the object for the senses. Everywhere it is the object for the senses. If you think of the mind, then the thoughts are objects for the mind. They are the constituting the mind. Now the other one is paroksha, means inferential. There also it is regarding the objects. So we are applying the causality there. Suppose atom nobody has seen, the elementary particles nobody has seen. Even God is an inference because we look for the causality of the world. God is also an inference, normal concept of God. So everywhere we are inferring, most of the things are inferences. Whatever we deal with in science, most of them are inferences based on some other pratyaksha. Something we are seeing, based on that we are inferring about the other fundamental truth or so. Now, how are we inferring? That causality is applied there. This is very important. That in pratyaksha, what is the causality? Unless I open my eye, I will not see. So it is a causality. Unless I place the glass here, the glass will not appear before me. So there is a cause and effect chain is working there. Similarly, in inference, the whole process of inference is based on cause and effect chain, that seeing something, we are inferring something. But this final, the ultimate truth is beyond all causality. By definition also it has to be beyond causality, because then if it is causal, then even look for cause for that also. So it has to be beyond causality. Now being beyond causality, it is neither pratyaksha nor paroksha. Both these faculties of knowledge, pratyaksha and paroksha, they are based on causality. But this knowledge, the ultimate knowledge, is neither pratyaksha, not paroksha, not within the ken of causality. We call it aparoksha. It's called aparoksha. Generally, aparoksha we refer to when the jnata and the jnana, that non-dual knowledge, that is in samadhi, when the duality is going, the jnata jnana difference is not there. There is nothing, no world, no individuality, nothing. The Atma reveals. That we call the aparoksha. But when we go into it with proper discrimination, we find that everything is aparoksha. Aparoksha means, suppose that I have a mind. It is not pratyaksha. You cannot see your mind. You cannot even infer your mind. It is not out of any, suppose I prove you don't have mind, you are not going to accept it. Forget about mind. What about the I in us? That I am. It is not a pratyaksha. It cannot be seen by any of the senses. Nothing. Even when the mind is not there, I will be there. Like in the sleep, deep sleep. Similarly, I cannot be inferred from anything at all. It is not an inference also. But it is a direct pratyaya, direct knowledge, direct. We call it perception, but it is not a sensory perception. So it is called aparoksha. Now that aparoksha knowledge, the non-dual knowledge itself is called prajnana. So when we come to know that this prajnana is the substratum of the universe, where the whole universe is appearing to be, then comes the truth of the Mahavakya Prajnanam Brahma. That Brahma is supposed to be the substratum of the entire universe, whatever is there. Atma we consider with respect to our body. When we say that Atma is the same as the Brahman, because Atma we consider with respect to our body, Brahman we consider with respect to the entire universe, whatever we are seeing. When we say Atma is the same as the Brahman, or Aham Brahmasmi, these are also Mahavakya. It means that whatever we discovered as the Atma in Samadhi, that itself is the substratum of the entire universe. So that itself is, it is not an ordinary jnana, it is prajnana, the non-dual jnana. That is also called pratibodha. In some cases, in some literature, this itself is called, prajnana is called pratibodha. Why? There is no difference. Because when pratibodha viditam matam means in every perception, everything. Without that, no revelation can be there. Whether it is outside object, inside object of thoughts, emotions, all the revelations, this is there. Not only that, when there is no other revelation, that is shunya, no revelation in deep sleep, or when we are, for some reason we become unconscious, that unconsciousness also is revealed by it. So whether that is external signal or internal signal or no signal state, it is the revealer for everything. This is the pratibodha. Pratibodha means every perception, outer perception, inner perception, sukshma perception, sthula perception, or no perception at all, no revelation at all, then also it is there to reveal that no signal state. So that is called the pratibodha. Although pratibodha means in every perception, but this jnana itself is called pratibodha in some literature. Pratibodha, prajnana, bodhi. Prajna also is referred to it sometimes. The bodhi is used in Buddhist literature. Because this is the direct understanding. Our buddhi is actually understanding, but our buddhi is effortful. Buddhi has got an effort that with the buddhi we are analyzing and then understanding. But the final understanding is a direct perception. That buddhi we can analyze, that can help us to finally go into it. But in this, the buddhi also has to become effortless. That is what Kenopanishad we have, that verse very often we have chanted. Yada Panchavatishtante jnanani manasa saha buddhischana vicheshtati tamahu paramam gatim. When all the sense organs are silent, they are not sleeping. Difference with sleep is that they are silent. Jnanani manasa saha, even the mind is silent, there is no vritti. Buddhischana vicheshtati, there is no effort for the buddhi at all. Buddhi is silent. Then the jnana reveals. That is the understanding, but there is no effort at all. Tamahu paramam gatim. The same thing I have explained yesterday with respect to the Yoga Sutras. That they said, Yogash chitta vritti nirodha. When there is no vritti, then the fusion takes place. The posited I, the small I, the egoistic I gets fused to the real I. So that is the ultimate yoga. When there is no second. The ultimate yoga means there is nothing second. So you cannot fear anything, you cannot get attracted by anything, nothing is there. Actually, you also are not there in the usual sense. There is no question of your getting attracted. That you, individualistic you also is not there. So, he says that what is happening then? Yada drashtu, tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. That at that time, the drashta in you, the jnata in you is actually resting in its own essence, swarupa. So it is not revealing any second object, subtle or sthula, whatever. It is not revealing any object, so it is not taking any form. Form means vritti. Even if it is Brahma vritti. Whatever it is, that vritti means the corresponding concept in the mind. So when it is not taking any form, that is the essential nature of the drashta. He says, tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. Then he says that then what happens when it is not samadhi, there is vrittis are there. Now here it is when there is no vritti. Yogash chitta vritti nirodha. When there are vritti, what is happening? He says, vritti sarupyam itaratra. That means other than this state, all other state also, you are not lost. You are not lost. You are still surrounded by the God, the ultimate truth, the Atma, the Brahman. You are full with that. But it is taking the form of the vritti. That is, the drashta itself has taken the form of vritti. That is why they are saying vritti sarupyam. It becomes the essence of the vritti there. Same as this, pratibodha viditam. Exactly same there. You will find that if you read from various sectors and try to integrate them, then it will give you a lot of confidence and depth also. So it is, otherwise the Shastras will remain all piecemeal. We should be able to integrate everything. Everything, it is only one truth is spoken about everywhere. Maybe somewhere it is a less, somewhere it is a more. Generally people say that Yoga Sutras are at a lower level. But I have found that we can explain them in terms of the proper experiential Vedanta also. It is a question of what people have made the philosophy out of it. There it will differ. You will find that even in this Pratibodha Viditam Matam, there are 4-5 interpretations given. One by the Kanada Muni and their materialistic part, that they are different. Sankhya has got a different. 4-5 explanations are there. And Shankaracharya is arguing out that this is having this defect, that is having that defect, etc. Similarly, Yoga Sutras also can be interpreted in terms of Vedanta. There is no question of any fight or anything there at all. So he says, Atmana vindate viryam. The real courage, the real strength is attained by this Atma. Why? Because all other things are changeful. So always we will have fear, always we will have lack of confidence, everything. Suppose you consider there is enough power in money and you acquire money. Finally, you will discover that more money means more fear of losing money when you are possessing more. If you consider some fame or something, then by something, if you lose fame, then you get depressed. If the fame is not there, then also another person who doesn't have anything, he is more famous, then also you lose. So if we pin on anything else, then that corresponding strength is not a real strength. That depending on any second object for our strength, object or situation for our strength, is never the real strength, because we will always have the fear of losing it or the desire for gaining more of it. So we will always remain small, we will remain self-centered, small, etc. So the real strength lies when we discover our real identity, which is unchanging. So it is not affected by anything happening in the universe. You may lose everything, but I will never undergo any change at all. So when we identify with that and not with the bodily indriyas or body or its possessions, then only the real strength is coming. So he says, Atmana vindate viryam. The real virya comes from the Atma. That is why whatever we do, we should do it remaining anchored in our Atma. That is there in the Shanti mantra. In the beginning, that Sahana Vavatu. That if we do it in the anchored, being anchored in the Atma, then everything will be done courageously. If you are successful, it is fine. If you are not successful, failure, you will not be bothered about it at all. Because you have done everything remaining anchored in the Atma. And Vidyaya Vindate Amritam. That the Amritatva is a product, that comes out of knowledge. Because even if you have the Atmic experience or Atma Sakshatkara, that will not immediately give you the knowledge. The knowledge you have to understand. Your unchanging, that Atma is the substratum of the entire universe. So there is no difference between the Atma and the Brahman. And what is that Atma? That itself is the Advaya Jnana, which when there is, that is revealing everything. And the same thing which we experience in the Samadhi also, there is no difference at all. So when this knowledge, the knowledge of the Prajnana, will give us the Amritatva. This is told in this. Now in the next one, it is the last verse of this Khanda, the second Khanda. Iha chedavedit Iha chedavedit Atha satyamasti Na chediha vedin. Actually, when I am cutting, I should read Vedit. This Iha chet avedit. Chet a becomes ched da. The tahalant becomes da. Iha ched avedit. That avedit and atha, that tahalant and a becomes again da. So it becomes iha ched avedit atha satyamasti. It should be read in one go, not cutting it. Iha chedavedit atha satyamasti.
Iha chedavedit satyamasti.
Then comes na chet. Chet means if. Chet's word means if. Na chet iha avedin. Avedin means avedit followed by ma, mahati. So when the tahalant is followed by ma, it becomes na. So avedin mahati vinashtihi. Here it will not be avedit mahati vinashtihi, because it is followed by ma. The sandhi rule will be, it will become na. So it is not avedin, it is also same avedit. Mahati vinashtihi. Iha chedavedit atha satyamasti.
Iha chedavedit satyamasti.
Na chediha vedin mahati vinashtihi.
Na chediha vedin mahati vinashtihi.
Iha chedavedit atha satyamasti.
Iha chedavedit satyamasti.
Na chediha vedin mahati vinashtihi.
Na chediha vedin mahati vinashtihi.
Bhuteshu bhuteshu vichitya dhira.
Bhuteshu bhuteshu vichitya dhiraha.
Bhuteshu bhuteshu vichitya dhiraha.
Bhuteshu bhuteshu vichitya dhiraha.
Pretyasman lokadamrita bhavanti.
Pretyasman lokadamrita bhavanti.
Here it is pretya. Pretya means it can mean two things. One is after death, when we say become preta, that is after death. Pretya means actually leaving the body. But in a deeper sense, where Jivan Mukti is discussed, naturally, here it is Iha. Iha means here. Here it is talking about Jivan Mukti. So, here naturally, Pretya will be leaving the identity with the body and the worldly things. That is going beyond the worldliness, not beyond the world. Not leaving the body as death, but the body identity, going, transcending the body identity, you can say. Transcending the body identity. That is Dehatma Bodh chhod ke Pretya Asmat Lokat. See? Asmat Lokat. That Tahlant again is followed by La. There it becomes La again. So Asmal Lokat. Asmal Lokat. Double La. Then Lokat Amrita again becoming Da. Lokad Amrita Bhavanti. Pretya Asmat. So it becomes long. Pretya Asmal Lokad Amrita Bhavanti. Is it clear? Read once more. Iha cheda vedi datha satyamasti.
Iha cheda vedi datha satyamasti.
Na chediha vedin mahati vinashtihi.
Na chediha vedin mahati vinashtihi.
Bhuteshu bhuteshu vichitya dhiraha.
Bhuteshu bhuteshu vichitya dhiraha.
Pretyasman lokadamrita bhavanti.
Pretyasman lokadamrita bhavanti.
I will first say the meaning, then again go to the Anvaya, and then again come to the deeper interpretation and all. Actually, generally, after the whole summary we will do, after I have done this, we will go to the summary. So, you will have a full recapitulation of the whole thing, how step by step it is proceeding and how it will take us to the next chapter. I would try to do that. He says, Iha. Iha means here. Iha means Iha Loka. That means in this world, in this body itself. In this world means in this body itself. Iha. Chet means if. Avedit. Avedit is lung. It is called lung. That means it is near aorist, it is called. Lung is aorist. That means it is close past. That we call it present participle also. If it is realized, then. If it is done, then. So it is not far past. Not lung. It is called lung. Lung means just if it is done here. Aorist means near, na? A-O-R-I-S-T. I think it is near past. That means when we use the participle kind of thing. When it is done. When it has been done, like that. Iha chet avedit. It is lung prathama purusha ekavachanam. Avedit. Lung prathama purusha ekavachanam. Atha satyam asti. If it is known, avedit means lung, means if it is known here itself, in this body, in this world, then satyam asti, the life becomes truthful, the life becomes meaningful. Satyam means if this truth is known, then the whole life, the whole living here, it rests on the truth. So it becomes truthful. Atha satyam asti. Na ched, but if it is not, na ched iha, in this life, in this body, in this world, if it is not known, avedit. See, there they were saying it cannot be known, it can be known, it is neither known nor unknown. But here it is saying that if it is known in this life here, so what is that knowledge? Now they have explained, so they can say that knowledge is not like the conceptual knowledge of anything. It has to be known by the Advaya, as the Prajnana, as the Pratibodha. They have explained now. So now this Avedit you should not consider to be the either the earlier Veditam and Aveditam. Na ched iha avedit. Na ched iha avedit. Same avedit here also. Because ched iha and a is there, it becomes long. Ched iha avedit. Mahati vinashtihi. The colossal is the loss, vinashaha. Because why? You will always be surrounded by loss and change and mrityu, as that said, that you will be surrounded by that. So you will be fearful, you will be running after things. The slavery to the world will not go. Basically, in one word, it is the world will remain as it is. You will enjoy life also if you do. You may not, you will suffer also life as you do. Only thing is that normally we all do it as a slave to the worldly situation. That is, the moment something is wrong in the external situation, we lose our self-seatedness. Now, it will not be there. You will suffer, you will enjoy, but everything will be just like as it is happening in the world. It is happening. Guna guneshu vartanta itimatvana sajjate. So, mahati vinashtihi. Bhuteshu dhiraha. Those who are wise people, the dhiraha, plural. It is not singular, plural. Dhiraha, what do they do? Bhuteshu vichitya. This vichitya is a very special use. Vichitya means sakshat kritya, you can say. Vichitya means again that pratibodha, same. That in all the bhuta, in all the beings, in all the manifest world, in every manifest thing, knowing that it is only the chit and chit and chit, all vishesha rupena chit sakshat kritva. That is, chit is the not chitta. Chitta means when there is a vritti in the chit, in the consciousness, we call it chitta. Now, if you, from in that chitta also, if you distinguish, if you entangle the vritti and see that it is the formation on the chit, so you identify the chit there in vritti. Now, all the bhutas are actually a vritti in us. It is not so. External, be it external object or internal object of thought, even when we are perceiving the world, they are all, we are knowing only because there is a vritti coming in our mind. The mind is, if the vritti doesn't come, we will not know the world. So the whole world has to be first of all reduced to the vritti in the consciousness, including our own ego. That's a vritti in the consciousness. That in that vritti we have to identify the chit part in the vritti, the non-changing chit in that vritti. That is the vichitya. Vichitya dhiraha. The dhiras, the wise people, bhuteshu vichitya, they can identify this chit in everything in the world. By that what happens? By that they get disidentified, or they transcend the dehatma bodha, pretya. When they do that bhuteshu vichitya, that they know the chit in every being, every object, every manifest display, then they transcend their body identity. They no longer think that I am the body. They identify with the universal, non-object subject, which will never be objectivized. So they identify with that, and by that they becomes immortal. Now, immortality, always we think of not dying, but a more erudite understanding of immortality, if you can think well and make it, it will be very good. The more erudite understanding of immortality is going beyond causality, going beyond objectitude. There cannot be any immortality in the in the objectitude, because the whole universe, things are created and they are dying. That whole creation is based on change. Even a particle cannot remain without, unless there is a change, there is an energy in it. Energy means change. The whole creation, the fundamental basis of creation is change. So this immortality, whenever they are saying immortality, it means unlimited also. It is not in the objective ken. It means beyond change, beyond limitation, beyond form, beyond objectitude. That is, they identify, as long as we are identifying with the body, we are thinking, I am also an object in this universe. So we cannot become immortal in that sense. When we find that in my consciousness, the whole universe of which my body, mind, personality is also a small speck is appearing to be, and I am that, then only it will be immortality. Amrita bhavanti. In Bhagavad Gita, they say, Yam labdva chaparam labham manyatena adhikam tataha. Yasmin sthitona dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. In each place there is a different expression. Yam labdva cha aparam labham adhikam na manyate. By getting which they will not look for anything else at all, because there is nothing else to look for. Yasmin sthitona dukkhena gurunapi dukkhena na vichalyate. Even the greatest of the calamity also will not be able to destabilize if you get stabilized in this. Another place Bhagavad Gita says, Svalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhaya. That is different. That is in Upanishad, then in Bhagavatam, in so many other places also. I think in Vivekachudamani also. If we don't attain this knowledge, we are called Atmaha. That means those who have committed suicide. Atmahanta. Because if we don't identify with that, that means that Atma is not existing for me. So we have as if killed the Atma. They forcefully put those verses in Upanishad also, I think third or fourth. Which one? The third verse of it. So Anvaya thoda likh lo. Anvaya likh lo. Manushyaha, it is singular because avedit, it is prathama purusha ekavachanam. So you can add manushyaha or sadhakaha, whatever you feel like. If you feel yourself to be a sadhaka, you can write sadhaka, otherwise manushya also is okay. Manushyaha, iha means asmin loke, asmin dehe, both same. Asmin loke, the loka is with reference to the deha only. It is not that the loka is separate and the deha, as long as the deha bodha is there, this loka also is there. Asmin loke or asmin dehe, chet. Chet means if, yadi. Manushyaha iha chet avedit. Avedit. You can put a comma. Atha means tada. We can add a tada, tasya, because the subject is not mentioned there. Tasya means the person who realizes. Tasya, tada, tasya. Satyam asti, or satyam asti means satyam bhavati. We can say paramarthata bhavati. Satyam, we can within bracket write paramarthata. That means the paramarth, the supreme goal is had. Something like that you can add there. I am not getting a good word. Paramarthata will be all right. Tasya paramarthata asti. Tasya jivitasya paramarthata asti should be, na? Full stop. Then iha chet, again iha is there, it's same, I am not again talking about the bracket. Iha chet na avedit. Oh, within bracket you can write tat brahma na avedit. That in the beginning also we could have done. That what is avedit and what is na avedit? Tat brahma. Iha chet, within bracket, tat Brahma na vedit, comma. If that Brahman is not known, tada, within bracket, tada is not there, tada within bracket. Tada tasya, again tasya you add there, sorry. Just like the first line, tada tasya. You cannot show on the it, na? We could have done it earlier. Kal dikha denge. Tada tasya mahati vinashtihi. Now this vinashtihi is noun. So let us add the verb tada tasya mahati vinashtihi bhavati. Vinashtihi means vinashaha. Same vinashaha. Tada tasya mahati vinashtihi bhavati. Is it okay or confusing? ठीक है ना? Full stop. Dhiraha bhuteshu bhuteshu. That means sarva bhuteshu. Bhuteshu bhuteshu means sarva bhuteshu. Bhuteshu bhuteshu. Within bracket you write ekam atma tattvam. Ekam or ekam we need not write. Atma tattvam is enough. Because bhuteshu multiple is there, I will say ekam atma tattvam. You can write ekam atma tattvam. Vichitya. Vichitya means sakshat kritya. Vichitya you can leave it also. Dhiraha bhuteshu ekam atma tattvam vichitya asmat lokat pretya amritaha bhavanti. Amritaha bhavanti means brahmaiva bhavanti, nothing else. Brahmavid brahmaiva bhavati. Here it is plural, so bhavanti. Now there is time, so we will summarize the whole thing. You go to the beginning. First is the question of the disciples. Actually, I generally when I write, I put a D, a G for the Guru, D for the disciple, so that it remains very clear. Keneshitam patati preshitam manaha.
Keneshitam patati preshitam manaha.
Kena prana prathama praiti yuktaha. Keneshitam vachamimam vadanti. Chakshushrotram kaudevo yunakti. So, this was the disciples' question. Many Upanishads starts like that. I have given earlier example and all. Even Shvetashvatara, the Brahma Vidaha Vadanti, the students of Brahma Vidya, they are discussing where from it has come, is it this, is it that, like that. So here also, the students are there. Later on we have found plural. They are asking that. That means they have some idea about whatever the Shastras have spoken. That it is not that the eyes are seeing, there is some power behind that, which is actually making it see. Because when we sleep, the eyes, if they are open, then also we don't see the objects. So there must be some power behind. But they have not specifically said anything. You can think that it is as if some power behind each indriya or so, that power is the same, that also they have not said. It could be the one indriya power, Agni is giving us the vision, the Vayu is giving us the Shrotram, the there are like that, all the different indriyas corresponding to different powers. So he is only asking, that is, they are trying to take the question from the gross level of thinking to a little subtler level, that what we are seeing, in fact, they are not the real seer, they are not the real knower, they are not the real hearer, they are not the real, even the prana also they have said, no, here they have not said. They have said, pranaha, prathamaha pranaha means they have understood that the prana is the adi, because without the prana, neither the eyes will function, nor the ears will function, no other indriyas will function. So, prathama pranaha, praiti yukta. But is it that the prana is the fundamental force, or there is something behind? As the body is growing from the fetus, how is it that all the indriyas are getting born by that one power, single power? So, that question is there. So, in reply to that one, he is replying also in a, you can say ambiguous but simple manner also. Shrotrasya shrotram manaso mano yad.
Shrotrasya shrotram manaso mano yad.
Vachoha vacham sau pranasya pranaha.
Vacham sau pranasya pranaha.
Chakshuratimuchya dhiraha.
Chakshuratimuchya dhiraha.
Pretyasman lokadamrita bhavanti.
Pretyasman lokadamrita bhavanti.
See, you should not forget that these are the good lakshanas of a good shastra. I always say that in the first reply itself, they will say the ultimate. Very briefly in one line, they will mention that. Everywhere, in Mundaka Upanishad, Katha Upanishad, everywhere, it is like that. That is a lakshana of a good shastra. That what happens with that. Now here he says, that which is the shrotrasya shrotram, manaso manaha, vachoha vacham, sau pranasya prana. It is the one thing. It is not that different thing is propagating. It is only one power which is propagating the prana. That itself is running all other indriyas also. Now, saying that, he says, atimuchya dhiraha atimuchya pretya asman lokad amrita bhavanti. That is the power that is controlling everything. But the wise people, they transcending the body identity, pretya, transcending the body identity, they, first is atimuchya, that is not identifying his I-ness with each of the indriyas. Generally, we identify ourselves with the eyes, with the ears, everything we are identifying with us. Disidentifying from that, atimuchya means transcending that identity, disidentifying themselves from all these apparatus, from all these instruments. What do? Pretya asman loka. They transcend this worldliness, or transcend this dehatma buddhi, and, or rather you can say by disassociating from the dehatma buddhi, they transcend the worldliness. And what does happen by that? They amrita bhavanti. They become immortal. So the ultimate they have mentioned here. Saying that, then he is cautioning. Na tatra chakshur gacchati na vag gacchati no manaha. Na vidmo na vijanimo. Yathai tadanushishyan. These two verses we will read together. Na tatra chakshur gacchati. Na vag gacchati no manaha. Na vidmo na vijanimo. Yathai tadanushishyan. Anyadeva tadviditat.
अन्यदेव तद्विदितात्
Anyadeva tadviditadatho.
अन्यदेव तद्विदितादतो
Aviditadadhi.
अविदितादधि
Iti shushuma purvesham.
इति शुश्रुमपूर्वेषाम्
Yenastadvyachachakshire.
येन सत्याचक्षिरे.
So, in these two verses, first he is cautioning that it cannot be attained by any of the senses. Na tatra chakshur gacchati, na vag gacchati. That means it cannot be expressed by any word also. If you have to tell, then you have to use words. Now, whatever words we use to explain Brahman, it all fails. It will not be, it will always be misled us unless we are able to read through it and understand what the real meaning is. So even it cannot be seen and it cannot be expressed also. Na bhag gacchati no manaha. It cannot be conceptualized by the mind also. The mind cannot reach there. Na vidmo na vijanimo yathaitad anushishyat. We don't know about it. And not only that, we don't know how to instruct. Because we don't know, we don't know how to instruct about it also. Because it is such, it is beyond the senses, beyond the mind. We cannot conceive of it by the mind. And so we don't know how to instruct it also. All other subjects can be instructed, you can learn from the speech, from the words. Here it cannot be. After cautioning, he says that, but we have heard from our Purvesham Acharyanam Nastad Vyachachakshire. We have heard from our Acharyas that right from the ancient time, the Acharyas, the people who realize, they have been instructing. That is why they have used Vyachachakshire, which is lit. That means far past. We have heard that they have instructed that it is different from all the Vidita, and it is different from Avidita also. It is different from the known, it is different from the unknown also. So he is giving the clue here that it cannot be known by the senses or it cannot be expressed properly. So how to instruct them? But there is a way. Go to a realized master who has been instructed by the parampara, through the parampara from the ancient time, who has realized. And they say that it can never be, it is beyond the known means cannot be conceptualized. Beyond unknown means in the unknown and known both are the two divisions of the objectude. Something you know, something you don't know. Both are, they are not talking about the jnata, because it is the jnata, the knower. So, it is neither the known nor the unknown. And unknown you can think of the Maya or the before creation also, that is also unknown. Both way it is the same. So, saying that, he had instructed that go to a guru who will instruct it. Although they said we don't know how to instruct it, but from ancient time we have been instructed that it has to be, it is different from the known and unknown. So now they will say that then how can it be? Can it not be known? So they will give the clue how to know. Yad vachanabhyuditam yena vagabhyudyate tadeva brahmatvam viddhi nedam yadidam upasate yanmanasa namanute yenahurmanomatam tadeva brahmatvam viddhi nedam yadidam upasate yachakshusha na pashyati yena chakshumshi pashyati tadeva brahmatvam viddhi
viddhi.
Nedam yadidam upasate.
Nedam yadidam upasate.
Yat shrotrena na shrunoti.
Yat shrotrena na shrunoti.
Yena shrotram idam shrutam.
Yena shrotramidam shrutam.
Tadeva brahmatvam viddhi.
Tadeva brahmatvam viddhi.
Nedam yadidam upasate.
Nedam yadidam upasate.
Yat pranena praniti.
Yat pranena na praniti.
Yena prana praniyate.
Yena prana praniyate.
Tadeva brahmatvam viddhi.
Tadeva brahmatvam viddhi.
Nedam yadidam upasate.
Nedam yadidam upasate.
This is also Upanishadic technique, and this repetition. Repetition means the importance. Whenever something is important, they will go on repeating. It is most of the Upanishads have. In Kenopanishad, it is very much there. All the shlokas, they mean only the same thing. What is that? One after another, indriya, mind, prana, all these things they have taken. That everywhere they are saying that it cannot be perceived by any of these indriyas or worked upon by the by the mind or worked upon by the prana, but it is the source or the substratum which is propagating all these indriyas, mind and prana. This is the fundamental point. The second line, which is repeated again and again, that is the more important. He says, Tat eva Brahma tvam viddhi. Know that to be the Brahman. Na idam yat idam upasate. Idam rupena yat upasate. Na idam. Idam rupena means that which is worshipped as this. As this means it is different from you. This means it is a second object. So either you worship it as some idol, or you are, say, those who are given to meditation and all, some form appearing in your mind, some experience happening in you, some word, I have explained in detail, some sound you are hearing. All these shrotra, chakshu, etc., they have said because of this. That we hold on to that and repeatedly, I want to hear that Om, I want to hear that. One day some Om sound came and we get bogged down to this. Or one day you see like Arjuna, that Vishwarupa Darshana, so every day we want to see the Vishwarupa. You are getting caught by that. Anything like that, which is within the ken of the indriyas or mind or prana, if you are doing upasana for that, that means your focus is on that, then you are missing Brahman. This is the point here. That is why they have repeated so many times. Idam rupena upasate. That is the main point. Na idam. Yad idam rupena upasate. If you watch anything which is different from you as a second identity, if you focus on that, then you will miss Brahman. This is the summary of this. Then comes the second khanda. Yadi manyase suvedeti.
Yadi manyase suvedeti.
Dabhrame pinunam.
Dabhrame pinunam.
Tvam vetha brahmano rupam.
Tvam vetha brahmano rupam.
Yadasya tvam yadasya deveshvatha.
Yadasya tvam yadasya deveshvatha.
Numimam syamevate.
Numimam syamevate.
Manye viditam.
Manye viditam.
Again, Guru-shishya dialogue starts. That Guru is saying, Yadi manyase suvedeti dabhramevapi nunam. That if you consider that you have known Brahman very well, then certainly your knowledge is very insufficient. Dabhram means alpam. Alpam means not just small, it is insufficient. Dabhramevapi. Dabhram eva, that definitely, and nunam also means certainly. Certainly your knowledge is insufficient. Nunam tvam vetha. What do you know? Brahmano Rupam. The Rupa of the Brahmana, or your idea, your concept about Brahmana, it is small. If you think that you have known it very well. Because such a knowledge, by that you have formed conceptualized Brahman. So certainly it is not the Brahman you are thinking about. You have not known that it cannot be known by the mind, it cannot be conceptualized. And you are thinking, I have known the Brahman very well. You get it? So, whatever you have known, yadasyatvam, you have known in your personality or in the other bhutas also. That whatever you have known to be the Atma in your identity, and whatever you have known in the Deveshu. If any power or Ishta, whatever. That is, you are doing the Upasana for Indra or you are doing the Upasana for anything. So it is different from you is the main point. So whatever you know as the Atma in your body or in the Deva, all these things, mimamsyameva te. Your knowledge has to be further analyzed. Your knowledge is not complete. Because you have known something insufficient. Now the Shankaracharya says, the hearing that, the Shishya became concerned that he did not say Suvedeti. I am knowing it very well. But why the Guru is saying that? I have explained in great detail. Whenever the Guru says, there is a meaning. We should not immediately say that, no, I have never thought that I have known it very well. The Guru is saying, so you should take it and think that, why did the Guru say like that? Is there any trouble in me? Let me look into myself. So Shankaracharya says, he is a good Shishya, he is humble. And he goes back and thinks well, and then again comes back that Manye Viditam. I consider that I know. But he is explaining further, Naham Manye Suvedeti. No na vedeti vedacha. Yonas tadveda tadveda. No na vedeti vedacha. He says that I don't consider that I have known it very well, but I cannot say that I don't know also. And amongst us, who says that I have known, but I cannot say I don't know also, he knows. This is what the Shishya is saying. Then Guru or the Shastra itself is saying, Yasya matam tasya matam. Matam yasya na vedasaha. Avijñātam vijānatam. Vijñātam avijānatam. Guru says, the Shastra says yes, or the Guru says it is yes. One who thinks that Brahman is conceptualized very well by him, he doesn't know. It can never be conceptualized. Avijñātam vijānatam. One who feels that I have not known in full, perhaps he knows, but not the person who has conceptualized the Brahman and thinks it to be known. Because one who knows that it cannot be known by the mind, even when he knows means when he realizes according to that, then also there will be, he will never say that I have known it, because I have known it means he has conceptualized. Then saying that because this statement of the Shruti may make us think that, well, then is it so that we will never know that whether it is to be known or not known, so it's all ambiguous and nothing is there. So now he is coming down to the real pinpointing that yes, it has to be known like this. Earlier he said that go to a Guru and this is the instruction according to that, because it cannot be expressed, it cannot be perceived, or by the mind it can be known. Pratibodha viditam matam. amritatvam hi vindate
अमृतत्वं हि विन्दते
atmana vindate viryam
आत्मना विन्दते वीर्यम्
vidyaya vindate mritam.
विद्यया विन्दते मृतम्
He says that when you are able to know this in every perception, pratibodha, then you will attain amritatva, because you will know that you are never changing at all. And that will give you, that identity with the Atma, which is unchanging, will give you all the courage to go forward and have the knowledge of this amritatva. Go ahead with that. Iha chedavedi ratha satyamasti
इह चेदवेदीदसत्यमस्ति
na chediha vedin mahati vinashtihi
न चेदिहावेदी महती विनष्टिः
bhuteshu bhuteshu vichitya dhiraha
भूतेषु भूतेषु विचित्य धीराः
pretyasman lokadamrita bhavanti.
प्रेत्यास्माल्लोकादमृता भवन्ति
So he has pointed out that how to go about it, because not only that, first of all he said that this is the greatest thing in life. If you know it, then your life will become purposeful, satyam. If you don't know it, then great, colossal is the loss. Saying that, he says that dhira, the wise people, how do they attain it? Bhuteshu bhuteshu vichitya, that they discover the chit part in every being, in every existence, in every perception, as pratibodha, the same thing. By that, when they identify the chit in everything, by that they transcend their body identity. Pretya asman lokad amrita bhavanti, and attain immortality. Now this is the end of the second chapter. In the third chapter, they start with a story. Because what is the greatest obstacle in doing this bhuteshu bhuteshu vichitya or pratibodha viditam? To do this, the ego is the greatest obstacle. Body identity you say, or indriya identity, or mind identity, whatever you may say, it is finally the ego, that our limited, constricted identity, which is the greatest problem. So they are narrating a story with the mythological again, just like Virochana and Indra we discussed day before yesterday. Na? That is from Chandogya. Here they are discussing another story, similar from the Purana, from mythological story. But why do they discuss? There is always a purpose. They are showing that even the devas like Indra, Agni, Varuna and all great devas, they also are suffering from ego. They might be great in power. So what about our kings, our politicians, our powerful people, our knowledge pandits and whatnot? Everybody is suffering from ego. And they are not able to discover the Brahman. That is the way of the story. We have to get rid of that identity, body identity, power identity, Indriya identity, which is causing the ego. So that is the purpose of the story. Tomorrow we will take up the story one by one. Santipatha. Om Mapyayantu Mamangani
ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि
Vak Pranaschakshuhu
वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुः
Shrotramatho
श्रोत्रमथो
Balamindriyani cha sarvani
बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि
Sarvam Brahmopanishadam
सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदम्
Maham Brahma Nirakuryam
माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम्
Mama Brahma Nirakaroda Nirakaranamastu.
Mama Brahma Nirakaroda Nirakaranastu.
Anirakaranam mestu.
Anirakaranam mestu.
Tadatmani nirateya upanishatsu.
Tadatmani nirateya Upanishads.
Dharmaste mai santu. Te mai santu.
Dharmaste mai santu. Te mai santu.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Hari Om, that's it. You can take it as a homework, whatever the way I summarized. Why don't you do it? It will be a recapitulation and it will be very good. Later on, when you read, everything will be clear. If you read the shlokas this way, that way, I don't think you will be able to get anything. Even if you read the translations also, how to relate them, the purpose relating can be done like this. So now it is fresh. If you today itself or tomorrow morning, if you work on it, it will be a very good exercise. You can summarize the whole these two chapters. Just the relationships, not that all the meanings you have to write, but how it is proceeding. Okay.